Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have swatches to share with you from by Dany Vianna. This is her brand new The Greatest Showman collection. This collection is releasing Saturday, October 24th, and it is a collection of 8 shades. There is 1 magnetic and 1 thermal, in addition to 6 other shades. This collection is going to have a 10% discount during the first week of the launch on both the full collection and individual shades. She's going to also offer free shipping in the United States on purchases of $75 or more, and for international shipping, she will be refunding the customers the same amount of the domestic shipping when she goes and processes the orders. I will have all this and her social media links and her shop in the description box for you down below. So why don't we go ahead and jump into it. First polish that we're going to have a look at today is called Million Dreams. Million Dreams is described as a periwinkle crelly base that's filled with aurora shimmer and iridescent and holographic flakes. This polish had a wonderful formula. It does start off a bit sheer, but I was able to build to a full opacity in 3 coats. I do tend to work in thinner coats, so your results may vary, but I do think this is a solid 3-coater. The formula on it was spectacular. It went on nice and smooth and evenly. The flakes in there lie flat, so you're not going to have any texture to contend with, but I always would recommend a good glossy top coat just to make it nice and shiny and seal things up. Nothing in here is going to dry textured, and nothing in here will be difficult for you to remove. My swatches tonight of Million Dreams are going to show you 3 coats and a glossy top coat. The next polish that we're going to have a look at is the Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman is described as a bright red jelly base that's filled with gold aurora shimmer and gold dot glitter. This polish had a phenomenal formula. It went on so smoothly and so evenly. It was such a joy to work with, and the red shade, I absolutely fell in love with it. It was just so beautiful. I will say that the glitters in here did give me, as you can see, I didn't get any out on this finger. On the other fingers, I got a couple of them, but I would recommend, if you really like the glitters, to go in with this glitter placement method. I just took an orange stick and painted a line on like the art mat that I have, and just picked up the glitters and drop them on my nail as any place I wanted. But I really did love that you don't have to if you don't want to. They're very easy to avoid, so you can wear this polish in 2 different ways depending on your preferences or your mood. I definitely loved that. This polish will not be difficult to remove unless you go in real like heavy with the glitters, and it will only dry textured based on how many glitters you have. This polish that we are looking at is called Come Alive, and it was inspired by the bearded lady's dress. It is a thermal that goes from a deep magenta to purple with dark flakes and ruby metallic micro flakes. This polish is another one that had an absolutely wonderful formula. It was so close to being a 1-coater, but I did choose to go in for 2 because I did have a couple of low spots on some nails, just to round out and make it nice and opaque. The thermal properties on this were very, very apparent and easy to transition. The formula was wonderful. I had no issues, no running, no pooling, and I had no staining. This is a pigmented color, so I would always recommend a base coat with deeply pigmented colors such as this, but I didn't have any staining for myself. This polish will not dry textured, and it will not give you any difficulty to remove. So that was 2 coats and a glossy top coat. This next polish is Ann Wheeler, and it is a lilac crelly base with small pink, matte, and holographic glitters and holographic glitters. This was inspired by the costume that Anne wore to perform in the movie. This polish had a wonderful formula. It went on very smoothly and very evenly. It stayed exactly where I put it. There was no application issues for this whatsoever. It had no running, no pooling, and no staining. It was beautifully opaque for me in just 2 coats. This polish is a glitter, so it is going to dry with a bit of texture, and it will be a little bit on the difficult side to remove. So I would recommend a good glossy top coat and some acetone to take it off. But that is 2 coats and a glossy top coat. This next one is Other Side, and it is inspired by the moment P.T. Barnum brings Philip Carlyle to the show, and The polish has a Bordeaux base with magnetic microflakes. So when I first swatched this, I didn't know it was a magnetic, so in the video you're not going to see me apply the magnet. I did find that when I did re-swatch it for my photos, which, you know, will show the magnetic line in my final photos, it was a bit on the sparse side, so I spoke to Dany, and she said she's just going to make sure that it is more distinct in the customer bottles. But this polish, I absolutely adored it on its own, unmagnetized. It had a fantastic formula, smooth, easy to apply, no running, no pooling, no staining, not going to dry textured, and it won't be difficult for you to remove. That was 2 coats and a glossy top coat. This next polish is Never Enough, and it was inspired by the moment the Swedish Nightingale performs, mesmerizing P.T. Barnum. It is a white jelly base with aurora shimmer and iridescent flakes. This polish had a wonderful formula. It went on smoothly and evenly. It stayed right where I put it. I had no running, no pooling, no staining, and I know some white polishes can be kind of funky. This one did not have that chalky white type of formula. It was a joy to work with. I did choose to go in for 3 coats to build to full opacity, and that shimmer in there is just so strong and absolutely beautiful. I absolutely really liked this polish. It didn't dry textured for me, and it was not difficult for me to remove. My final swatch is going to show you 3 coats of Never Enough and a glossy top coat. Next up is This Is Me, and it was inspired by the dress the bearded lady wears during this number. It is described as a bright blue curly base with turquoise metallic microflakes. This polish had a phenomenal formula. It went on so smooth and so evenly. It was an absolute joy to work with. It was so close to being opaque in 1 coat, but it is a jelly, or acrylic rather. So I did choose to go in for a 2nd coat just to make sure that there was no visible nail line. The polish is not going to dry textured, and it won't be difficult to remove. It is very pigmented, so I would recommend a base coat just to protect yourself from any possible staining. I did not have any, and I wore this for at least a day because, look at the shade. It's so gorgeous. My final swatch is 2 coats and a glossy top coat. And last is the beautiful Rewrite the Stars, and it is described as having a blue base with aurora shimmers, iridescent, and holographic flakes. This polish had a phenomenal formula. It went on so smoothly and evenly. It stayed right where I put it. I had no application issues here whatsoever. It does start off a little bit on the sheer side, but not really. You can still see the nail line in 1 coat. It is not going, there are a lot of flakes in there, but I didn't find it dried textured, and it was not difficult for me to remove. I had no application issues such as running, pooling, or staining. None of that was happening for me. I did choose to use 3 coats, but I do work in thinner coats. You might be able to get this opaque in 2, but if you have a strong nail line, it's probably going to be a solid 3-coater for you as well. But it is very easy to work with, so it's 3 easy, fast coats. My swatches are going to show you 3 coats in indirect light, and, direct light first, then indirect light of my light box, and glossy top coat. So that was the Greatest Showman collection from by Dany Vianna. This goes live on October 24th. I will have all the information and links that you need in the description box down below. I had a lot of favorites with this one. This one, I don't think I could just pick 1 or 2. Of course, you know I'm going to pick the last 2. This Is Me and Rewrite the Stars were absolutely stunning blue polishes. I adored them. I really loved the white Crelly. And the red, the red. I loved how beautiful and shimmery and fiery it was. I did prefer to wear it without the glitters, but I really did love that I had the option to do that. I love polishes that kind of are versatile like that. So let me know in the comment section down below what your favorites are. I hope this video was helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.